As a shoujo fan, there's a specific series that really grinds my gears every time I hear its name. In fact, what inspired me to make this video is because of how mad it makes me and how many times I've had to re-explain to people why it is the worst shoujo ever. This series is The Wolf Girl and the Black Prince, so let's dive into it and why it is the worst shoujo ever. For those of you who don't know this shoujo series, it both has an anime and manga adaptation. I will be talking about both in this video. The Wolf Girl and the Black Prince follows a story of a girl named Erika Shinohara. The main story follows the fake boyfriend trope as Erika lies about having a boyfriend in order to fit in with her new group of friends. She does this by showing a photo of this random handsome guy she secretly took, not knowing he was the most popular guy in school. This character turns out to be the lead Kyoto Sata, who I will be referring to as Sata for the rest of this video. Sata agrees to help Erika after Erika begs him to fake date on the agreement that she will be his dog. While her dog position might sound like something inappropriate, it is actually just an excuse for Sata to boss her around and treat her like property. I only reread the manga a few years ago, but I remember when I originally had read it as a 13-year-old, I had thought Sata was so dreamy. But upon rereading the manga, I was jump scared by the amount of red flags there were. So today I'm going to talk about the moments in the anime and manga that stuck out to me the most as the worst red flags. So let's get into it. So today I'm only going to talk about 3 moments that stuck out to me. And the first one is coming from the anime. This will be the only anime related that I'm going to make. But rest assured, there are many frustrating moments in the anime. Okay, so the scene that bothered me the very most comes from episode 5. And in episode 5, Sata confesses to Erika that he is in love with her. Following this, Erika excitedly shares ideas about how they could spend the holidays together, as this took place around Christmas. She shares ideas about eating food together and about having presents together, and Sata excitedly agrees, before immediately taking off his facade and starts to mock Erika, saying that she trusts too easily and one day will probably be picked up by a con man. On the bright side, for those of you who are angry in hearing this, my girl Erika comes through and she throws water at him, as she should. It was just really crazy rewatching it and realizing how garbage he was. And I just don't understand what was going through this man's head when he was trying to confess to somebody that this was his response. I really don't get it. But before I completely move off this anime section, I want to mention something that really bothers me with the series in both the anime and manga, and that it has a repeating plot point of the stereotypical shoujo, you shouldn't be friends with any guy because any guy who is trying to be friends with you either has a crush on you or is trying to manipulate you, or both. And it's very frustrating seeing this series, because to me, Sasa is the most toxic shoujo man ever. So trigger warning for this next point, as I will be talking about violence and the objectification of women. So if you're not comfortable with that, I would recommend skipping this. So in the manga, Erika starts a part-time job, and there she meets Terapon. And like I mentioned earlier, any man who is not Sata turns out to be a manipulator or having a crush on Erika. So keep that in mind as I say this. So, Erika and Terapon start working together, and they soon realize that they used to be childhood best friends. And immediately, Terapon is not very fond of Sata, in that he is intimidated by him and gets the icks from him. Terapon also points out that he doesn't believe that Sata is treating Erika with respect, which leads him to hate Sata. So to nobody's surprise, Terapon ends up liking Erika, and he creates this promise to her that if they get together, that he will make her so much happier than Sata. But in chapter 42, Erika denies him and says that Sata is very important to her, in a very strange explanation of how Sata takes up a lot of her life. And in response to this, Terapon has a 360 with his character and slaps Erika and asks her to come to her senses. And the manga panel that they drew for Terrapon after he slaps her and asks her to come to her senses feels like a complete 360 of the genre change too, because the way that they drew his face screamed psychological horror to me. But I am a shoujo reader, so take that with a grain of salt. But like I mentioned earlier, how Sata reacts to these kinds of characters really gives me the icks, and this one gives me the most icks ever. So Sata shows up in shoujo fashion, and he says, and I quote, "Erica is mine. What Erica wants does not matter. If you want her, then you need my approval." Which is so... To me, it is just disgusting how he talks about her like she's an on-sale TJ Maxx candle. Like, it is crazy. Especially because at this point in the manga, the bet of acting like a dog should have been off. They're already dating. Spoiler, sorry. Also, at this point in the manga, it's more than halfway done, and seeing how Sata's character development and how he treats women from episode 2 to this episode makes me really sad, because they're similar situations. If you go see episode 2, it's pretty much the same plot, but Sata does not change how he acts in the end. Going on to my last point, I'm going to be talking about the moment where I realized that this series was the worst shoujo ever. I will be including trigger warnings here because I will be talking about topics of eating disorders, so just like with the last point, if you're not comfortable with that, then I recommend that you skip this part. So in chapter 32 of the manga, Erica is having lunch with her friend near the end of the holidays, where her friend points out that she has gained a little bit of weight over the holidays. And then it transitions to a scene where her boyfriend is also telling her that she has gained weight over the holidays. He quickly tries to embarrass her further by pinching her arm fat, and this leads to a sad monologue by Erica where she thinks in her head, and I quote, "If I become unslightly fat, Kyoya might leave me." And then goes on this spiel saying that she is sorry and is a failure of a girlfriend for gaining weight. Sata agrees to help her lose this weight, where his horrible antics are continued. He starts calling her a pig as a nickname and uses it to tease and embarrass her. He then contradicts himself by saying that he doesn't care whether Erica is chubby, but he thinks that gaining weight is a problem. And in a controversial take, Erica comes home after this and decides that she does not want to be the quote-unquote chubby girlfriend, and tries to do anything in her power to prevent this. Following this, Erica shows up to school exhausted, with no energy, and in a quick-tempered mood, and these are all unfortunate signs of starvation. Even more sadly, in this manga panel, we see Sata visibly see how the diet that Erica has put herself on is affecting her, and he doesn't say anything in response and just simply watches her as she follows this diet that is doing nothing to help her. Then that night, Erica comes home and gives in to her family's buffet, and she eats as much as she wants with her family, and by the next day she has gained back all of the weight that she has lost. And this part of the chapter is really the most ick ever, because Erica starts apologizing to Sata for gaining weight again. And in response to this, Sata weighs her and then says this. Even following this, Sata says that she's nothing more than a pig for the mindset of giving up and giving in to her food cravings. After this, Erica promises Sata that she will lose the weight again, and after some minor adjustments, at the end of the chapter, she is skinny again, and it's seemingly the perfect shoujo end. But this chapter is really what made me totally and completely disgusted with this shoujo. I understand that in other cultures outside of the US, that talking about weight is a way different topic, and that it's more normalized to fat shame and do things such as that. But to me, with all the other things that Sata has done, it just seemed like another way for him to manipulate and control Erica. And to have this be an example for a young audience on what boyfriends are supposed to act and be like through shoujo, I really do not think that this is a great shoujo at all, and that it showcases manipulative men who treat women like trash. And listen. I've had my fair share of loving characters who are morally gray and twisted. But Sata isn't Shishomaru from Inuyasha, nor is he Phantom of the Opera. And he definitely is not Karma from Assassination Classroom. And that's because he's just a jerk. Plain and simple. And this topic is so important to me because it breaks my heart knowing that a very young audience is reading this. And I think that especially with young girls who are growing up, they become sensitive and aware of their bodies. So things mentioning weight gain, I think, can really affect them. Luckily for me, being an idiot, it flew over my head, but I'm just one person. I think for shoujos, they are a great way of showing a young audience what it's like to be in love and growing up and all of those slice of life stuff. But it's also important to me that what they're being shown is the right things and the right expectations. I mean, of course, not everything in shoujo is actually going to happen. Like, every boy you meet is not going to be a member of the Chinese zodiac, but I think that for main male characters and female characters in shoujos, it is important for them to have the right set of moral values, as I think it sets an example for the younger audience. And I think that the moments that I mentioned within the anime and manga should not be displayed to a younger audience, as I think it ruins their standards of what their future partners should be like, and I think it ruins the image of themselves and how they should act as a future partner. And that's what leads me to believe that this is the worst shoujo series to ever be created. But I don't want to end on a negative note, as this video has been very negative and been talking about very negative topics. So what I will say is this. The only good thing about this entire series, and I hate to say this, is the theme song is so good. It is ridiculous how good the theme song is. But anyways, y'all can let me know what you think is the worst shoujo ever. I know that some people will stand behind this anime to the day they die. Why? I don't know. I mean, I can kind of understand it if it's from a nostalgia perspective, but besides that, I really don't understand why people like this, and I don't understand why I keep seeing people making edits to Sata. If I get another one, I'm gonna lose my mind. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye!